Hi everyone, hope you're having a good B-Sides. So, I'm just setting things up. All right, so just starting to present who am I. I'm Patrick Mathieu, I'm co-founder of ACFES. It's a conference in Quebec, Canada. I've been doing pen testing and consulting for around 8 years. I'm currently working at Security Compass in Toronto. I've been into hacking since around 97, joined this on before internet, BBS and those kind of things, and found those texts about hacking and never stopped, so here am I. I've talked at DerbyCon last year, did the demo labs about the tool I did, and I'm doing a Black Hat Arsenal also this week, so if you go to Black Hat, you can join me there. My Twitter and info is there. So, we're going to talk about Purple Team. What is my experience about Purple Team? Officially, I've done, like I said, around 8 years of consulting, and it was mostly staff hogs inside government and huge agencies, insurance, those kind of companies. And I did around 10 years at the same time of pen testing. So I saw both sides, the red side and the blue side. A lot of those services was, like I said, government, banks, insurance. And at current employer right now, I create the services about the Purple Team. So I also lead, well, I create the service, I lead and create 2 major Purple Team exercises, which are usually 1 to 2 months exercise pen tests. And what I saw, so by doing all those experience and all staff hogs inside government, I saw so many things that were wrong, and that's why I came out and do the talks. There was so many organizations that was no SOC, there were no NOC. Most of the security inside the organization was like just governance, so people writing rules of what to do, but nobody putting them technically, or just analysts, just architects, and rarely operational people. So not a lot of technical and hacking or even incident response. And even like one of the best government I saw in Quebec down there was the logs. They were having millions of those. They were not even filtering them. It was like terrible blue team. So that's why we need to talk about Purple Team. Just quick like this, can people raise your hand if you're inside a blue team right now? Awesome. Anyone in red team? Cool. So if I can help you guys. So why talk again about Purple Team? It's kind of a subject that come around in the last few years. A lot of people online, even Mobix or others, are talking about this. But when we see what people talk about, they don't cover it all, or usually I don't find it properly. So we need first a lot more talk, a lot more defensive research and talk inside conference, people focusing on everything defense. We're a lot into offense. Most of the conference and research is done inside finding issues instead of fixing them or finding ways to fix them. We need to have the red team to help the blue team. It's not just about people going against an organization, destroying everything and giving a report and run. It's really to help, and I mean, the red and the blue are supposed to work together. They have the same role, which is making the organization better and more safe. Purple Team services should help organization mature and grow faster. It's really a game changer. Sorry. So when I was doing from pen tests to a major Purple Team effort, most organizations that we talk about those kind of service that we're looking for red team, and when we explain what we can do with the Purple Team, with the mentoring and everything, will change ideas. So it's really a good game changer. Also, it's to help the blue team against red. And because defense needs, like I said, a lot of love, there's red and blue have the same objective, not the same approach. One is to attack, one should be to defend. And both sides should talk together. They should mentor, help, grow, and challenge themselves. So it's not just about doing a pen test and finding issues, and you will see the more details I will show afterwards, but it's really, Purple Team should really be an experience where both sides grows and talk together to enforce security. And the most important, when we talk often about red team, organization are kind of scared of it because it costs a lot of money. Like I said, like a 2 months exercise could cost a lot when we talk about consulting. It could reach 100 to 200K. But there's a way to do Purple Team for small organization and really cheap costs, and that can help everyone. So if we go back at what a red team should be, what it is, it's to assess the business. So the main thing you need to know is that a pen test will test against IT risk. It will find technical issues. A red team and a purple team is going to assess a business risk. So it's based on a threat model. It needs to define goals and objectives based on those risks. And the red team will go against the risks that were found based on the threat model. So if inside an organization, the main risk is the client list, we don't care about testing the exact application or a specific web server. We want to find ways to reach this list and any ways to achieve this goal. So this is what really the red team should be about. It's a no-scope base. So when we do an intrusion test, we want to do, here's a list of IP, of web servers, of application that you need to test. A red team or purple team is a no-scope. So everything inside the scope is what you should not do. So technically, you can do anything except the no-scope, which usually is like, do not destroy anything. Do not steal an asset, like go inside the server room and leave with a server. It's really to limit the damage that you could do. Red team is based on the 3 domains, so social, physical, and electronics IT. So you want to use any of those domains to achieve your goal and objective. It helps find ways to breach an organization based on a risk. So like I said, the red team will find a way, a path that was not known by the organization to achieve their goal, the objective, which is to assess the specific business risk. Any question? All good? All right. Purple team definition. So what people already talk about, what it's been discussed in different talks or blog online, is usually the purple team approach would be a technical exercise that the red team will test a specific attack against the blue team. The blue team will monitor it, will try to find the red team attacking, and then they will talk and try to improve. The process for this exercise, there will be like a post-mortem discussion, those kind of things. Oh, sorry about that. Not supposed to happen. Okay, whatever. The slide is just not showing, but the computer works. Okay, so, oh, there you go. Okay. So, purple definition. So what people talk about is really that it should be an exercise with more like a workshop type. So people would do a small exercise and post-mortem afterwards. What a complete purple team should be is really based, like I said, on the business risk. So we want to not only assess the technical side, but the business risk, and regardless of the risk of the department or anything related to this. So how to get the business risk is there's multiple ways. So we can do the C-suite interview. So interviewing anyone related to the C-levels to gather information about what the risks are for any departments. We can base ourselves on the existing threat model documentation that exists inside the organization, or if nothing exists, we can create a threat model exercise and find the business risk of the organization. Based on this, we need to know what kind of system, data, room, assets, or even person that are at risk, where are they, why they are important, how the asset is protected, and which security measure exists or not. And based on all those information, we can create a good threat model. The advantage of this is that the exercise is targeted against a variable target. So it's not just to test something, but it's to test something really important. And the approach isn't base attack, it's really risk assessment. So whatever the attack used by the red team, it will be what we want. Well, it will be the path that they will find to achieve their goal. So the organization, at a minimum, must be mature. And when I say this, they should usually have a minimum budget of security. They should know that they should invest in security. A lot of organizations are not even there yet, so it's important to know. It's interesting, at least, so they have a SOC or a blue team in place. Mentoring a team that doesn't exist is not the best. To determine the level of maturity to do the purple exercise, there's a lot of different exercises that exist, a lot of levels. So we can do smaller to really like a 2-month exercise. So what it should really be, it's a mentoring and learning exercise. It's actively involve the blue team inside what the red team is doing each day, each week, daily. The red team should describe what they have done, how it works, why it works, and give their recommendation and what the blue team should do. It's not just about giving a report. It's really to sit with them and explain how it works and why, and even make them try if they want. So it's really like a consulting service to help everyone grow like this. So the different kind of service or steps that exist, the first one, like I said, is the threat model. So if the threat model doesn't exist, you want to at least do it by a real threat model exercise or the C-level suite interviews. Then you do the workshop. So you can have an organization without a lot of money doing just predefined exercise that will test some specific attacks. So specific scenario or specific objective without having to go for 2 months. And then you have the full purple team where you will sit with the team, you will assess all domains. The blue team is involved inside the communication, they know everything. And then you have the full red team where the blue team doesn't know anything, and afterwards you see how they react and if it was good. So you can go this way, and each year, 6 months, or whatever, you can review your security and see if you improve, which is totally what every organization should do. A good purple team is based on communication. So when the blue team is involved each day, it will be daily, weekly, or monthly meeting. It will be to discuss what the red team is, what they've done, like I said, and how to remediate. And you can even do like a retest. So everything is inside the process of the communication. And you got the concept of the mentoring process. So when you do workshop, it could be daily or weekly. When you do a more bigger purple exercise, you want to usually not do it daily, but after each scenario or after each goal that has been achieved. So if the red team is going after a client list for a week, Well, after the week, you sit down and verify what everything has been done, what succeeded, what fell on both sides. So even the red team can learn from what they missed or everything regarding this. So meeting will cover, the subject covered by the meeting of the red team is what has been done, how it was done, why it fell, and why it succeeded. So the fail are also important because if the red team fails, it means that the blue teams have done something good. So they need to explain which attacks fell, so the blue team will know what good security is there and which part are missing. What recommendation on short term, medium, and long term? And is there a retest that should be done or anything to confirm the fix on the blue team side? On the other side, on the blue team, they need to verify what was the tech, what kind of detection, what process was involved, who was involved, how the communication inside the team was, and what is the outcome of it. Same thing for recommendation, same thing for retests, but they will also have a few more steps regarding logs. Should the log be analyzed? What are the next steps inside the recommendation? So planning on fixing things. Then when you have everything in place, which, like I know, is could be something big because it's a cell about the management that need to be involved in this, you can have the concept of gamification. Everything is in place for a purple team. So your organization is also mature. You've done a few exercises and maybe a real purple team. So the concept of gamification is really cool. You do a game with the red and the blue, and you see which one got the more points after each exercise, each goal, or something like this. When they gain access, they gain points. If they complete the whole scenario, same thing for the blue team. But you have to keep in mind that it's something for the organization to grow, so we don't want to like having a bad game here. You don't want people to be mad at each other. It's really just a learning curve. So how to sell this to high management? It's really to push the concept to the high management so they know the concept that the purple team will bring business risks into account and not just the IT risk, so it can assess any part of security of the organization. The mentoring is really good, so they need to understand this part. And the approach that all those steps will make the organization grow regarding security. So the level of purple team will be, like I said, the threat model, workshop, purple, and red. So they need to understand each step. And then the upper management need to hear about the business risk and not just the IT issue. So we need to have someone inside the organization that can speak to a management level and not just report the technical issue up. So it really needs to have like a CISO level of person, and then everything will make sense. So mentoring to identify the gaps in security and for employees and system. Yeah, so we're running a bit out of time. Just a minute. All right. So last part was the use case. So just to go quick about what we've done on our side. It was 1.52 months purple team. It's an organization of 500,000 employees, financial, SOC in place. It's aware that they need to invest in security. They know about it. We've done a first round of workshops. Then the year after, we did a blue team with web recon, external hacking, social, and physical. And it definitely helped on the workshop because we were able to test specific attacks inside the organization, what the real attacker will do. And we sit with the blue team and tell them what to do, what recommendation, and then they fix it. The year after, when we assess all domain, we identify the risk, we test all the domains, and then we confirm even the known existing security issues that they know, but they wasn't aware that people could do it, maybe. So that covers it. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. We don't have time for questions at this point, but please track the speaker down outside and ask him any questions you might have.